Welcome to Xbox Voice, the Xbox community. This is episode 95. We have no Golden Throat, but I have something better. We have Southbound. Welcome to the show, Southbound.
What's up, fellas? How you doing?
I heard
Thank you
that
for having me.
your vocal capacity is still completely there, unlike certain other people known as
Um,
Golden Throat.
little bit.
Yeah,
I can't fill. Those are big shoes to fill, but
I know.
I'll do my best.
That's why we brought you in. We also have Steve Rules on the show today. Welcome to the show, Steve.
Hey guys, good to be here from Europe.
From Europe, that's right.
Hmm.
Because I always thought, you were Canadian, personally. But that's why
Thought
we
you
have
were Australian.
Yeah. That's why we have a personal friend of mine that's Canadian on the show today. Daniel, welcome back to the show.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to even out the global nationalities.
Yes. Well, we're very North American centric for the show. We don't really do a lot of international. Multicultural, definitely. But we're going to keep pushing. We need to get
Very
somebody.
East Coast.
Yeah. We need to get people from all around the world, not just the United Kingdom. And we have Michael. What's up, Michael?
Hey, ladies and gentlemen.
The fastest eater in the world.
Fastest eater. Yeah.
Not really. No,
I am.
I didn't even eat my other thing I cooked. So that's for after, I think.
Well, you're just gonna have to mute in between.
Yes.
No, I just wrapped it up, put it downstairs.
Oh man.
No distractions for me.
I got distractions for right here, so if you see me eating on camera, just
Steve,
yell
we
at me.
can still ask how he's doing though, even though he's not here.
Oh, how's Vern doing? Vern is singing tonight. He didn't have time to do the podcast. He wouldn't be getting off work till 9, 10 Eastern. So it was, we wanted to get the show up before then. And, after he gets off work, I wouldn't want to do a podcast either. So it's one of those, he's just going to miss a week. He'll be back next week. It's not going to be a problem. Until he quits, then we're going to shut down the site. And, it's just going to be how it is.
He's with us in spirit.
But I have amazing people in the chat. I haven't seen Darth Vidar in a while, and he's here.
Mm-hmm.
Super
That's
Saiyan
right.
2 Sonic 17 is here.
Vidar.
It's Darth
Do it-
Vidar. That's his name, man.
It's okay.
It's the AR.
Just go with it. Just go with it.
You got a problem with
All
Darth Vidar? Huh?
No.
Better not have a problem with Darth Vidar. That's right. All right, well, let's get right into the letters of the week. That's what we got. That's right. We have letters, people. He said, first letter is, Hi, gents. Chaos Dasher here. Glad the issues that with last week's podcast was sorted out. Enjoyed listening to it. Keep up the great work. On to my question. Considering E3 is around the corner and with rumors of the new IP reveal, thought it was time I ask about IP that have already been revealed. Between Quantum Break, Crackdown, and Scalebound, which one do you each of you believe that has the potential to be the next big heavyweight IP along with the lines of Gears, Forza, and Fable? I am not including Halo because nothing sells like Halo does. Which one do you think will review the best? Which one do you see selling the best? And which one do you anticipate being accepted the most by the core gamer community outside of the mainstream? Think D4 and Sunset Overdrive. Obviously, we haven't seen much of any of these titles except for Quantum Break, and maybe I should have asked this after E3 2015, but I wanted to get a feel of your thoughts, expectations, and wishes for these three titles. Personally, by far, Quantum Break is my most anticipated, followed by Scalebound, which are yours. Hope to see you guys in the Twitch broadcast, and good luck in tonight's show. Regards, Chaos Dasher. Alright, so from the big three he mentioned was Quantum Break, Crackdown, and Scalebound. I think the biggest one for the core audience in that list is going to be Crackdown, by far. It's kind of a well-known IP. People really haven't heard of Quantum Break or Scalebound before. However, Scalebound looks like it's going to try to go for a big audience. I mean, every game's always going for a big audience, but I think Quantum Break, if you're going to put it in that niche group, is going to be that game that's kind of hardcore, if
I
you
was gonna
will.
say the exact same thing. I think Scalebound is a niche kind of property. It's not
And
going to be like a huge system seller or anything like that, but it'll have its core people that love it.
it'll hit a if it hits the right nerve with people because it's platinum. Platinum have a very dedicated group of people that really enjoy what they do because they just make very standout games, right? Bayonetta really just isn't like other games, you know. So if Scalebound ends up being really, really good, it might do more than people expect. But you know, it's the same sort of Crackdown seems like the most likely to be sort of successful
I agree.
because it's a known IP compared to Quantum Break and Scalebound. But then again, what we've seen in Quantum Break seems really cool. But you kind of want to see more of all
Quantum
these
Break
things.
looked good, but so I mean, look at Alan Wake. Alan Wake was a really good game, and I don't think it sold half as much as they wanted it to. Even though it did sell well, I don't think it like if there would have been sequels upon sequels if it did.
Mm-hmm.
Alan Wake's a slow burner at the end of the day. Before we go on, though, guys, Tim Dog, welcome to the show.
What's up? I'm sorry, I just got in from work. But I can't just wait there.
Nobody heard two words.
I got out of it.
Two
He's on
words.
56K.
All right, wait a second. Say something
Audio
again,
is
Tim. All
horrible.
Can you want me to go off?
right, give me a second. I'm going to give you a call right back.
He's calling from his cell phone. He's on 3G.
No, he's on like Edge. Or
Yeah.
E, whatever the heck it is.
I did.
Tim?
Hear me now?
Yes,
better,
much
much
better. Much better.
PD is in the house.
I gotta agree. The Edge network, I think, is the best bet of what you were on there for a second.
Yeah.
Is anybody else getting a lot of echo?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know who it is.
I blame
Timmy.
Daniel.
I think it's me. Because I just came on and I just heard it.
I've had it since Dustin started talking, basically.
Shouldn't be me. I'm wearing headphones.
Usually, if
on a
there's
mic.
a echo, you'd see it in the Skype, right?
Not always.
Unless someone's listening to the podcast on Twitch.
I said something.
That wouldn't be that delayed.
Yeah.
It seems to have gone away. So
Somebody fix their stuff. Somebody.
Somebody was
Wasn't me.
guilty and just kind of backed away, like, oh, okay.
Do not whistle, please. All right, I'm sorry. Let's get back on topic. So, Scalebound. Yeah, I think that's going to be a niche game, but I think Quantum... I don't know. Between that and Quantum Break, I guess Quantum Break has... Because it's Platinum Games is more of a niche audience than what, like, Crackdown or even... what is it? The guys who make Alan Wake are. You know, it's...
Remedy.
Yeah, Remedy. It could go either way, though. I'm not sure. It's something we really have to wait till E3 to see what these games really are. Because to be honest, we really don't even know what Scalebound is at this point. We have no clue what it is. And you could almost say the same thing about what is the game?
Honestly,
Quantum
I
Break.
don't know. Don't kill me for this, but I
Thinking
when
about it.
Scalebound first got announced, I kind of thought it was the same thing as Bloodborne, but obviously it's not. So
Bloodborne has dragons in it, of course.
yeah, well that's why I thought the two were the same. And
I was being facetious. I don't think there's a single dragon in Bloodborne.
Well, it might. Who knows? Who played that game? Let's be honest.
I honestly
Over
I
a
didn't-
million people.
I played 5 minutes of it.
Yeah, see? 1 million people played 5 minutes of it, Michael. Shut up. God. All right. I just did a study.
What is that?
I
Witcher 3, I mean, I did it last night. It has to be driving for...
His
Wow.
audio is horrible.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with you, Tim.
I'm going to reset completely.
Sounds like he's stuck in the Matrix.
Yes. I think it's just proof that the Matrix is real.
Yeah, I seen that cat twice.
Yeah. Sorry about that, guys, for the people tuning in. All right. Any more comments about these guys? I think we really have to wait before we really even talk about anything else. I mean,
Yeah, I agree.
E3's just it's right around the corner.
Weeks.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard for me to judge it.
I think Quantum Break is going to be the biggest of the three, because I think that it's like, I mean, I think Alan Wake, because it was trying to be that sort of psychological sort of thriller thing, perhaps, and it also came out the same day as Red Dead. That might have not got the sales they wanted at the beginning, but I think Quantum Break seems like a lot more sort of regular, sort of interesting, cinematic experience. I think, and I also think it's going to be awesome. And I think Scalebound is going to be very different to what people think. Like, I don't think it's going to look or particularly play like a niche platinum Japanese game, because otherwise I can't really see why Microsoft would bother investing in it, because it'll just bomb. Like, I think the reason why they partnered with Microsoft, and this is something that they sort of hinted at, was that they wanted to do something. I know it's a cameo game, so it's not going to be completely like it was developed in the West, but it's I think it will be a lot less Japanesey and quirky than perhaps people are expecting.
But see, that's the
And
thing. We still don't know what it's about or what, all we saw was a little cut teaser trailer. So we don't even know gameplay, all that just yet. So we have to wait till we see some in-game footage or another trailer to finally, kind of grasp what the game's about.
I mean, I'm expecting some sort of co-op action RPG-ish kind of thing. We'll see if I end up being right about that. But yeah, I mean, Crackdown's cool. But I think like there's sort of suggestions that it's going to be like an open world MMO, like from job listings I've seen, and generally the kind of way that they've talked about it. So I don't really know if it's going to be too much like a sort of what the regular Crackdown games were. It'll still be Crackdown, but a bit different. I mean, I wonder if it's going to be like a free to play thing, but like Fable Legends is. Like, I'm not too sure, but I think Quantum Break is going to be. I think there is, now that they've got it out of the holidays, I think it's going to be very big.
Well, exactly. If they bring it out like first quarter next year, I think it'll sell well. Referring to Quantum Break, I'm really excited for that game. The whole different time continuum type, mess around. You can just do whatever you want. That's interesting to me. I don't know about how linear it is. If that'll make it worse, but I'm interested.
Definitely on that. We'll have to wait and see. And E3 is right around the corner. We're definitely going to see it, so I'm excited for it. But
I'm curious of what they're gonna leave out, because there's just way too much stuff for a 90-minute show.
yeah, but they have an hour pre-show, so they might be announcing games there. Like if they do support Connect at all at E3, it's going to be at that pre-show. That's
Right.
what it's not going to be during the main stage. But we also might see OS features get bumped to the pre-show and not be a main stage thing.
Well, I think the way that he talked about talked about the OS stuff. I think the OS stuff will be in the show. I think what they'll bump is some of their smaller, I mean, Connect stuff. If there's actually any there, or any of their sort of smaller downloadable titles. I think they'll make sure that they've obviously got a plan between what's E3 and what's Gamescom. So I think what they'll do is they'll then they won't move anything from E3 to Gamescom now, but they've got daily shows every day for the hour. So I think they'll move some of the smaller stuff to that, and they'll generally sort of, I think the E3 conference will mainly be big stuff, and we'll see the other smaller stuff around it.
Well, from what I'm hearing, I don't mean to cut you off, but from what I'm hearing is there's gonna be a lot at E3, obviously, but there's so much stuff that they have on their plate that they have to save some for Gamescom. So Gamescom is something to look forward to this year.
Yeah, I mean, Phil said that they were planning the two together. So the way that, and if you look at a lot of their press releases and stuff, they do mention Gamescom. So I think they've probably already got E3 and Gamescom
Well,
sort of
right now,
sorted
I can
out.
tell you right now, they're doing practice runs of E3 right now.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I mean, look, at this point, we just gotta wait. We're almost there. What is it, like 3 weeks away at this
3 weeks,
point?
I think.
A little bit less than 3 weeks.
16 days.
I prefer to
9
think of
days.
it as just over 2 weeks.
Yeah,
It's a fortnight.
it's a fortnight away. But you know what? I got my Cheetos ready. It's E3 food for me, people. Cheetos. If you can't tell.
Tim and I will be there holding hands.
Tim, are you there?
Yes. No.
I don't know. I don't know.
What's going on?
Tim is like having connection
Bow
issues.
out. Yeah.
All right. Well, we're just going to continue on. Hopefully, Tim's audio gets better as we go. Maybe he can move into another room or something closer to his Wi-Fi or.
Classic
Maybe
Tim.
so.
But let's get right into the news. New Xbox One controller was spotted on the Xbox support page. It's coming with the 3.5 millimeter port right into the bottom of it, so you're not going to need to buy the headset adapter to listen into your games. What it looks like. Not much more than
Why
to
wasn't
go
this
off
done
from
since
that,
day one?
because I don't think they thought Sony was going to include a port. I think they thought that was just going to be an accessory they'd be able to get away with without selling.
Well, you know
So
what?
what's gonna happen
I'm
with
sure
the-
they made a lot of money on that $25 adapter. So I hope that they're over and done with that now.
What were you saying, Daniel?
What are they going to do with the chat adapter? Not a chat adapter, it's a normal headset that you use. It's just going to plug over that, I guess?
They'll just change it out. They'll just switch people over to the like a regular headset adapter, like you just pop in your headset. Like
Yeah,
for
but do
a
you think
phone.
the headset's not going to work, though? If I take my old headset, the one that came with the day one edition, and plug it in with the new controllers, it's not going to work.
No,
Or are
I
they
bet
going to have
it'll
that port
still
as
work.
well?
I think they'll have that port there. It's still going to work. It's just they're going to add a port to the side of that port that allows you to just plug
Yeah,
in
like
a
right to the
headset.
left of it?
Yeah. That way it wouldn't mess with the older accessories, and they can just pop it right in. Now I wonder how they control volume and stuff like that after that, because that becomes a little more tricky. Because me and Vern both agree that it's awesome, and you really miss it on the PlayStation controller with being able to mute right where your thumb is. Like it's just an instant mute instead of having to go into settings and mute it or reach up and press a dongle on your headset. Like it's
For
nice
like a
having right at the bottom of the controller.
For like a stereo headset, or for what do you mean, like, or for the
It's a
chat headset?
3.5 millimeter.
Yeah, so on like the PS4, like you just plug it in and you have an audio jack. But if you want to mute it, like my headphones here, I don't have a mute button on my headphones. So I would have to go into the settings and mute the microphone in settings to stop people from hearing me.
Yeah.
On the PS4. On Xbox, that adapter at the bottom of it, you have mute, volume settings, and switch between game audio and chat audio.
Yeah. Yeah.
And how they're going to... Well, I mean, we have no idea what the front of this thing is going to look like. The only thing we got was a diagram of the back, and it kind of looks exactly like the Xbox One controller as it does now, except that they're adding that port.
Yeah, we
There
really
is-
haven't seen the whole picture of it. We've just seen the diagram, and it basically from the diagram, it looks like it says the 3.5 millimeter is to the left of the old chat adapter
Yes.
port.
It's
There
time
is
for me to
actually a
get new
picture of the
headset,
front,
maybe.
and it's exactly the same.
Okay.
I'm looking at it. I just literally found the thread on Gaff and clicked on it, and it shows a picture of the front. And it's the same. I think what we'll see is that they fix the bumpers. It seems like there's no share button or anything, but I wonder if they will have something else like a chat pad or something that might give people other things that they wanted.
I just hope they add USB chat support. Like the fact that the PS4 allows you, like, I can hook up my Yeti microphone to the PS4 and use that as a microphone. That is fucking awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty
Because
great.
they just let you plug anything you want into it and it just works. My Astro A50s are the same way. I have to use optical out for the Xbox One. I can't just plug it in the USB and for it to know what it is and send my audio to my headset like the PS4 allows. I mean, those are features that I think are amazing on PlayStation that Xbox just doesn't touch at all. And hopefully this is, with them adding a 3.5 jack, it's kind of like, okay, we understand people didn't like the headset adapter. We're going to change our ways. We're going to be more consumer friendly and allow people to use any headset, any way, and just let you plug and play.
I mean, it should have been day one, but I mean, I understand the proprietary where you want the cash grab. I mean, it's a business at the end of the day. I get it. But like you said, Sony did it well, and there's some things they did very, very well. And you wish Xbox would have done the same, but I mean, that's the choice I made, so I got to stick with it.
I don't think it was a cash grab. I mean,
Come on,
look at
you think they didn't
That was a cash
make
grab.
a lot of money off those $25 pucks?
well, if you look at how they designed the Xbox One inside, and some of the rather questionable decisions they made there, I think that it was probably just a significant oversight, and then they're like, "Oh shit!" And then obviously they couldn't, because I mean the adapter didn't come out until like March, so that it wasn't like they could go back in time and add it. They had no choice at that point. I mean, they didn't have to charge so much for it, but
it's a standard thing you want to have. Like, it's something on the Wii U gamepad. You have a headset adapter. On the PS4, you can plug a headset into. On the Xbox One, you got to buy an adapter. And that's the one thing I hate about the Wii U's Pro controller is it doesn't have the headset adapt. Like, you can't plug into it. And that's all I want. I find being able just to pop a headset in to be amazing on all the systems. And that's a feature that I want to have standard. And I'm glad that they're making it standard with the controller to make it cheaper for people. Because right now, if I was telling somebody an Xbox One, it'd be like, okay, and you need to buy a headset adapter. Like, that's an extra $25 out of people's pockets. It's
Well, especially if you're buying say an Astro A50, which they retail for $250, and then you have to spend another $25. You'll be pissed off, and I've been pissed off.
And sadly, the Astro A50 exclusively for the Xbox One sounds even worse than the regular Astro A50 for me.
But I didn't
You
buy
know
that
what?
then.
I heard that as well. I heard the Xbox One version of the Astro A50 is the batteries die out fast, and the sound isn't as good.
No, you can ask Daniel. When I was wearing it, it sounded like I was talking through a tin can. Like, it completely got rid of all the bass in my voice, the little there is, and just destroyed my voice, essentially.
I'm also not happy with the A50s, but that's just a standard model.
Yeah.
I had the standard model, and I couldn't get it right. You know, the game audio sounded great, but the mix between the chat audio and the game audio, I couldn't get the right level, so I had to ditch them.
My microphone just stopped working, and then Astro just wouldn't do anything about it, and so I
Really?
just got rid of them. Yeah, I might eventually pick up Turtle Beach XO7s.
Don't do it.
Eventually.
Don't do it. If you're gonna get the Turtle Beaches, get the wireless ones, the A500s or the A800s.
I
The
don't know how I wanted this though.
The XO7s, I've had the ones, the 5s, 7s, and for some reason, and I have a small head, they gave me just the ringingest headache. I could only play for about 10 minutes before I just couldn't stand it anymore.
Because of the pressure of the earbuds or whatever?
Exactly.
Yeah, you need somebody with a fat head to wear them for about a week, and then you can start wearing them.
Really, no, because I have a small peanut, and for some reason,
Whoa.
they just squeeze.
I thought he said
A little
something
too
else
much.
there for a second.
Little too much detail right there. So,
Peanut.
So no, I felt the same way. But then I took the cat helmet for Master Chief Collection and put my headset on it for a day, and then it was good enough. It was fine. But you gotta use that cat helmet for many things, you know. But all right, well, I'm excited that it's not. I think Microsoft's the only company, and they've done it every generation, that iterates on their controller throughout the generation and updates it.
But then you could suggest that the reason why they keep iterating is because they keep fucking it up somehow.
Well, like you went from the Duke, which is the best controller ever made, to you
That
switched
big old
over
ass.
to the S controller, which was a decent controller, and then the 360 came out. You had the basic 360 controller, which had an awful D-pad, but it was a pretty decent controller.
That controller still, to me, it was the best controller ever. And maybe you could argue with the Duke, but I really liked the 360 controller, even with the messed up D-pad. I was
No,
fine
but they
with that.
fixed the D-pad for the
Right.
most part. But the twisted one, that's the revision they had. And now with the Xbox One, they're gonna add other things to the controller, which I mean, they just they just keep updating it.
Those subtle changes in that controller, I think it's gonna be more than that. Not just the 3.5 millimeter.
Yeah. And you know what? To be honest, I prefer a company that keeps doing it than Sony with the DualShock 3, which was the same as the DualShock 2, which was the same as. It took
Didn't it
all
just
the
have
way
Rumble?
to the DualShock fucking 4 until they actually changed it at all, and it's a great change. I love the DualShock 4, but it took Sony a very long time to get over that basic design.
I'd actually say that the DualShock 3 actually managed to be worse than the DualShock 2.
Absolutely. Oh yeah. God,
Just-
it was
I mean,
a stinking pile of poop.
I think the DualShock 2 for what it was fine, but the DualShock 3 is literally like using nails every time I used it. It was just like my hands were just like, Steve, just put this down. It's dreadful. It was fucking
What-
woeful.
Why though? It looks almost exactly the same as the DualShock 2.
Because the R2 and L2 were much worse. Like they were like they tried to make them like
Slippery.
triggers. But yeah, they were slippery. They were cheap. Like the entire the 6-axis was incredibly light because it had no rumble
Well,
modes.
there's two PS3 controllers. Are we talking about the revision on the PS3 that added DualShock back, or just the 6-axis controller that had no rumble?
Well, they're both pretty terrible.
No, the
the
first
Dual-
one was really awful because it felt like it was a single ounce. It was very light and it felt cheap and it was awful. And then you had the DualShock that they redid with rumble, and I thought that felt better. I mean, I've never been a huge DualShock fan, but I mean, it was better than that POS, the original.
Yeah, that controller I cannot get used to. I hate it. I wish I could get a 360 controller for the PlayStation. Someone in the chat said something about having on the new controller having a share button. I don't think that the Xbox One controller needs the share button. For what?
I
They
can see.
need a snap center or something.
A dedicated snap button.
Maybe a snap button. I agree with that. Instead of having to push the Nexus button twice real fast, because sometimes it doesn't, work.
Register
This
perfectly.
can work a lot of
Right.
times.
It works pretty well for me, but I guess I just am pretty good at that because I usually use it to record
Hey,
something real
Michael.
quick.
We
What's
got
up?
named good accents for the Kinect.
Uh-huh.
What?
We can talk to our Kinect better than the other people. Kinect is made
So
for
there-
Southern.
Are there any more fan letters?
No, that was it for fan letters. That's it this week, guys.
Jesus.
But we were already in the stories. But just going right by Daniel, just right by.
Yeah, I think he's eating dinner now.
All right, let's talk about Xbox free games with gold for June. All these shockingly amazing, not so much games. So we got Massive Chalice and Pool Nation FX for the Xbox One. For the Xbox 360, we have Just Cause 2 and Thief.
Garbage.
So nothing really to write home about, sadly. Just
Other than
Uh,
Just Cause.
yeah, Just Cause is
Yeah.
a great pickup for 360 owners.
Xbox horrible.
I'm very excited for Massive Chalice. Actually, I'm pleased about that. I think that would be a good title. Why they've got Pool Nation FX for a third month instead of Castle Storm for a second, I mean, doesn't really make a difference either way. But it's weird, and a lot of people hated Pool Nation FX. Maybe it was just much cheaper or something. I don't know. Just Cause 2 was on PS Plus 3 years ago. Although I know that not everyone has it, but it seems strange. Thief would be cool if it weren't for the fact that the last gen versions were kind of terrible, apparently. So,
Do you think we
No.
can get an E3 game?
What was that
I didn't hear
robot,
that.
Tim?
Robo
something to
Tim.
D3.
I'm out now. This is out of Xbox.
No, your voice still sucks.
Yeah, we can't really understand you, Tim.
Is that
I think he said goodnight.
Did he?
Why don't he just go through his Xbox?
Go through your Xbox,
use
Tim.
Connect?
Just Skype through Xbox. I don't know if you can still hear me. Somebody send Tim a message for me. Just
Yeah,
tell him
well.
to go through
So
Xbox.
Massive Chalice. A lot of people are upset about this, apparently.
I know I am. I don't know
it's
why,
a-
but tell me why
it's a-
I'm upset.
Brand new game for free. You know,
People-
like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
coming out that day. You know, that's not so you can complain about necessarily. I mean, it's Double Fine, so there's, you know,
What's
some
up, Chaos?
shakiness in that, but you know,
I don't know. Apparently, people are expecting AAA games, and then if you say, "Oh, it's games for free," they're like, "It's not for free. You're paying $40 a month or a year or whatever." So it's just like, whatever.
I think people need to realize is that Microsoft don't see the value in games with gold like Sony do with PS Plus. Like, without those free games in the beginning, PS Plus wouldn't have existed because they'd have had nothing to charge for. Microsoft have always been about charging for the online, and it's painfully clear when you look at the offerings in both that yes, Microsoft do bring game, and occasionally we get a cool game, but generally it's just not as priority to them. And I've never seen anything that suggests that it is. You know, we will eventually get to AAA games, and I think that Tomb Raider Definitive Edition will be the first because they've got this big deal with Square for Rise of the Tomb Raider. But yeah, I mean they had Rayman, but it's just I have low expectations of games with gold these days until they can actually give me a reason to actually have any expectations for it.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why I'm quite happy with Massive Chalice. It's a new game. I was looking at it anyway. And I was also quite surprised that it has actually come out so early in comparison to the final release on PC. So, you know,
they have a habit of debuting games through Games with Gold, which is it's smart at the end of the day. You know, if it's a game that might not get a lot of attention, you know, you give it away for free to a dedicated user base, and granted, that's a lot of potential sales that you're losing, but
Well, see, that's
Assume-
another thing. Don't they have to work with the actual game makers to agree for Games with Gold? I mean,
Yes.
Xbox can't just say, "Oh, I'm going to put X game for."
Well,
Games
no, they could definitely do that, and they would have to pay for each copy that they sent out. But usually what happens is Microsoft's going to go to a dev, hey, we're going to give you half of what you got for a sale, but we're going to give it to like 30 million people, so you're going to make this much money, like right off the bat. So
Right.
it's a better proposal.
So it's like a
for
5
them.
cents on the dollar type thing, or
Well,
I don't know.
I wouldn't
I
say
don't know
5
how that
cents on the
works.
dollar. I bet they're making a lot more than that. But Microsoft's definitely getting a discount from what it would cost normally. Like they're not going to
And then
pay the full price.
really, it's only for 1 month, so it's not like they're giving it away for free forever.
Yep.
Or 2 months, because usually they'll carry over one of them.
But what Microsoft and Sony do for these smaller devs is actually benefits a lot of them. Because let's be honest, I wouldn't have gave this game a second glance, but because it's there, it's free, it's part of my Games with Gold, I'm gonna give it a shot. I'll play it, and they can grab me. But me personally, I wouldn't have played this. I wouldn't have paid for it.
Right.
I saw some gameplay on the internet. I was like, holy shit, these graphics look really bad. But then I started watching the gameplay. I'm like, that looks like it could be fun if you like turn-based strategy games.
Double Fine has never been a visually impressive company,
I
so
don't know.
no, they
Its
really
acting was
haven't.
pretty good.
That's because it had a very fine art style. Like this is a lot less stand out and unique.
No,
for
but you
that
know,
sense.
if you could pull it off, go for it.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a good deal. Check it out. Let us know if you like it. Please write us. Tell us what you think of this Malice.
I just don't think that, once they start doing AAA games, that's going to be the precedence and the standard, and everyone's just going to keep demanding AAA games. So
No,
they got
definitely, and that's the problem with PlayStation Plus now is they're not. I mean, they've gotten some really good games, especially this month. They're getting some good, decent games with like Metal Gear Solid, but overall, a lot of their games on the PS4 have been like, oh yeah, this was this $3 game that came out for indie games, and people have been a little upset with them. But the reason they've kind of gotten away with it is because the PS3 and the Vita have been getting huge games on their respective stores, and you have to have those platforms to play them, but they have that back catalog to really lean on to make their stuff sound good. And I mean, Xbox is kind of doing the same thing because you're getting Just Cause 2 and Thief, which are, Just Cause 2 is a fucking amazing game, and if you haven't played it yet, you'll really enjoy it.
Good co-promotion for the upcoming Just Cause 3.
Yeah.
I think
very soon.
the other thing is that on PlayStation, because they have all these cross-buy games, like 4 of the 6 games across all the platforms are cross-buy.
Yeah.
So you get them all on PS4, and then some of them switch between PS3 and Vita. So we get Massive Chalice, whereas PS4 owners get 4 games, and that's the reason why people somewhat rightfully sort of look down on it a bit. Is that there, even if the games that they're getting on PS4 aren't so good, there are 4 of them. So people are a bit less critical because at least there's lots of choice for lots of different people's tastes. I mean, I will say also is that the Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes is, in my opinion, a bit of a dick move because it was like 75% off in April. So I bought it for like £5, and then they put it on PS Plus for June. But that's up to them. That's probably how they got it, because most people bought it already.
Trying to add Tim back to the call, guys. He started. But, yeah. Let's move along to somebody near and dear to most people's hearts that love B-rated movies. Is Bruce Campbell is coming to Call of Duty Advanced Warfare DLC. How do y'all feel? Are you ready for Bruce Campbell? Are you pumped? I
I
am.
had no idea this existed.
I just seen this last night. You know what? I like Bruce Campbell. I think whatever he does is gold. So it should be good. I mean, he's been around for a long time. He's a talented actor, even if he is campy. I think it'll be good. It fits in perfectly.
I haven't played Call of Duty since like Black Ops 1, so I can't really comment on this.
No,
Yep.
but
I'm not
how do you
sure.
feel about Bruce Campbell?
I like Bruce Campbell. Yeah, I like his roles. I like his acting. He's not like a Oscar-winning actor.
No,
but
I'm just saying,
he's
like I said,
funny.
he's a B-rated movie star to me. Like he's
Right.
awesome. He's B-rated. He's not berated, but he's B-rated. Yeah.
And then when he was on, was it Blacklist? What was the one on USA?
Burn Notice.
Burn Notice. Yeah,
Burn
he
Notice,
was great.
fucking awesome.
Yeah, Sam Max, he's great. I loved him on that show.
But I'm a big fan of Bruce Campbell. I'm going to support that. I'm going to buy this DLC just because Bruce Campbell's in it.
Well,
That's how
yeah.
much of a fan. I love B-rated movies personally, so this is kind of my ballpark. It's what I love. And the fact that he's coming into a video game just makes my life a lot better. And I'm not the biggest Call of Duty fan, but I'm
He was in the
enjoy it.
Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Yeah,
That film was fucking dreadful.
except for Bruce Campbell. Let's be honest, he was perfect.
I've actually just googled who he is.
Yeah,
I
or
recognise
nay?
the face.
Do you know what he's from?
What most people know him from, you should probably say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Steve is not impressed.
Maybe I should have watched Burn Notice.
Burn Notice is
Steve is
good,
not
and you know it's in syndication right now, so I definitely check it out. I'm sure you can catch it probably on Netflix or Amazon, one of those streaming services.
have to see what we Brits have got over here. Probably be on one of them.
Yeah, because it was on the USA Network here. I don't know what that would be. Would they have a sister network over there?
BBC.
Is it?
Yeah, big black. Oh, I'm sorry. 1 second. That's me. All right. How old are you, Steve? Question in the chat. Need to know.
I am 25, unfortunately.
25 and a half years old. Thank you, Zorbs,
Would have
for
been. Whoa. 25 and just under a quarter.
just
That's,
under a quarter. Thank you, Steve.
Feel old now.
You feel old? Well, just wait till you actually get old. You're going to be like, fuck, I thought I was old then.
Yeah, 25. You're still a baby.
All right, let's move along, people. Let's go on to new Xbox One Project Cars patch out now. It's improving performance. It's adding a little smoothness to the action. But the big thing is even though they're adding, like, changing up gamepad controllers, they're adding ABS brake rumble to the Xbox One triggers, which is fucking amazing. If you haven't tried Forza yet, then you just don't know what you're missing in a racing game on a controller. Because the one thing the Xbox One controller does better than anything else is the force feedback in the triggers, and it makes braking and, like, just pretty much anything in racing so much better. Like, you don't realize how much you miss it once you get used to it. Like, it's game changing, honestly. Let's see. Rework the Xbox One analog sticks range with access dead zones, providing more steering control. Wheel controllers, Fanatec wheels fix the issues with steering joints for some users' experience, so that's going to help me out. Fix an occasional crash. But it looks like they added a bunch of stuff. But I think what most people are going to have been talking about all week, since one of the developers from Project Cars said that he was going to get a 30 to 40% performance increase on the Xbox One version of Project Cars with DirectX 12. And, like, everybody went fucking bonkers over it, and we're like, no, this dude's full of shit, or he was talking about PC, even though he was on an Xbox forum replying about it to an Xbox question and everything else. But he was supposedly talking about PC, but we all know he was talking about Xbox. Which is cool to hear that they're going to actually support the game to run specifically on DirectX 12 after the release. Because that's it. How I'm going to say this correctly. It just shows that they're going to actually support the game more than just the first 2 months that it's out on the shelf. Especially since DirectX 12 is pretty far away. It's not like we're getting DirectX 12 next week or when E3 comes out. It's not like it doesn't
It's supposed
just
to be
push
after
out
summer,
like that.
right?
Yeah. But we don't know how
wouldn't-
that's... Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, it's good that they're, that he's talking numbers and that there's going to be a big improvement, but I don't know. I mean, 30 to 40% seems like a big thing to dish up, and then, I mean, if they don't hit that, then I don't know. Especially like for Project Cars, these sorts of things have kind of a hardcore community. I don't know. I probably wouldn't have used I mean, it's good he's enthusiastic, but I wouldn't have said it quite like that personally.
I think it's more to do with... it's just... That game is very CPU intensive. Over pretty much any other game. That's why you're going to see... And 30-40% is around... Like, I think somebody said it's around like 10 frames per second, roughly. So it's not like it's the biggest game changer in the world, but it'll make it a smoother experience. But their game specifically is very CPU heavy, and it's not a GPU issue with their game. So DirectX 12 specifically handles that issue. While something, let's say, the next Unreal game, whatever it is, it's probably going to be more GPU heavy. And DirectX 12 is going to have a few extra tricks up its sleeve, but it wouldn't perform better, per se, just because it's using DirectX 12. And that's why you can't say, oh, every game's going to get 30 to 40% increase, because it depends on the engine and not just, oh yeah, it's 30 to 40% instantly, because that's bullshit. That doesn't mean anything.
I'm a little bit more realistic. I don't think DirectX 12 is going to be like the be-all, save-all of Xbox. I mean, of course, it's gonna help to make everything smoother, but I don't think it's like people are waiting for it to like resuscitate something from the dead. You know what I mean? It's not gonna.
Well, it's not
be,
like adding another GPU.
right.
It's freeing up the CPU to do a lot more tasks and to make it easier on the CPU, but it's not going to add a GPU. Like
It's going to make everything more streamlined, but
Yeah.
it's definitely not going to like you said, add another core or something like that.
But yeah, it'd probably be more considered like adding a core to the CPU and not the GPU, just because of how much more efficient it's going to be at doing what it needs to do on the CPU. But that's it. Like, you're not going to see this massive, insane graphic upgrade off of it. But you will see frame rate go up, which is kind of what's important to most gamers. Well, it should be.
And to be fair, they've been working towards that because they already freed up an extra core of the processor for development of games anyway. And we've seen some games where they've had high resolutions on PS4, but the frame rate is, I mean, I think The Witcher was one of them more recently where the frame rate's higher on Xbox One. So obviously, you know, those sort of improvements are obviously yielding some benefits.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to fix people's videos now that Tim dropped out of chat. Sorry, guys.
He's just having problems tonight.
Because I changed everybody's video sizes after I did that, and now he's gone. Alright, let's move on, I guess, to Assassin's Creed Syndicate will not have a companion app. So they are not coughing up the money to make an Assassin's Creed app anymore. Which I thought was dumb in the first place.
It was dumb. Even though I wasted a lot of time laying in bed, messing with these stupid little chests.
Yeah.
You know, searching for hieroglyphs. I'm glad there's not going to be a companion app.
No, but my thing is if they're going to do one, why not use Xbox Smart Glass? It's all there. I wouldn't have to go and fucking download another app. You could just have it there. The work was already done. Why?
Well, yeah.
Why make me download something else? Like, and Sony's in the same boat. Sony has an app that devs can fucking make apps for their games. Like, why
Dead
did
Rising's companion app was actually pretty decent.
Yeah, it was impressive for what it was doing.
Yeah, no, it was. It really was.
Yeah, and they're like, oh no, you're gonna need to go and re-download and fucking download our app so we can sell advertisements on the app while you try to play your game. I'm not for that. I hate that. I don't want to deal with that. That's dumb and annoying. But that's just my thoughts on the subject.
But then not only that, they also had the Ubisoft had their own what's their little
Uplay.
Uplay. Yeah, they also had an app for that you had to download to work with the companion app. And we were like, really? It's ridiculous.
I feel like it's either a time constraint, which is me being cynical, or they seem to have genuinely actually learned from Unity. And I think probably because, quite frankly, they're scared that Unity's tainted the brand, and if they put these things in there again, it's going to piss people off, and they can be like, you know what, fuck Assassin's Creed. But at least they do seem to have actually learned something.
Well, they definitely bit off more than they could chew with Unity.
Yeah.
A lot of good ideas, poor execution.
I think too many good ideas. That game just had too much stuff in it.
Right.
And it's evident as soon as you see the mini-map and you see all the stuff that's there.
Well, when I seen how many events and things they were supposed to do, I mean, I almost had a panic attack. I was like, really? I'm going to have to do all this? It seemed like there was like a million things to do. And then you have to get a co-op companion, or you go to the companion app. It's like, oh my god, how long is this game supposed to last me? 5 years?
Let me tell you about The Witcher. All right, let's move on. Halo 3 ODST Master Chief Collection release date was a placeholder, says the dev. It's not coming out the 29th. It's in certification. We're still testing it. Hold your horses. That was the press release that they came out with after we saw it on Xbox servers for coming out on the 29th. But let's be honest, they only have what? They have like a week at most to get this game out?
Do they have to get it out right away?
No,
Well,
they said
they-
it was going to be out this
Man.
month. They're the one that's put a deadline on themselves. They
Yeah,
have
they've
4
got, like,
days. They got 4 days.
I
You
don't.
count
I
the day.
don't see it. You know what? They should take their time, get all the bugs, working, kinked out. Because if they come out and it's a buggy piece of shit, they're just. I mean, they can only make it worse for themselves. Take your time, fix it, do it right, then bring it out. That's
The
my
problem
opinion.
is, no matter what they do, they're damned if they do and they're damned if they don't. Because if they don't release it, then people are like, "Oh my God, you said May, release it right now."
Yeah.
And then if they do release it and there's a problem with it, then they freak out and get mad at 343. So no matter what they do,
I heard the glitch
No,
is that
they're-
it
they're
resets all
definitely
your
in a hard
achievements,
place.
Daniel, so I want you to try it first.
yeah,
Oh,
I don't
wow.
think so. I'm at like 80 something% in Master Chief Collection with all the achievements. I hope that
I mean-
doesn't reset anything.
I mean, they're obviously at this point cutting the definition of May very fine, and I don't, I think it'll actually release over the weekend. Like, it's not something they generally do, but it wouldn't surprise me. But I just think, it's a damned if you do and damned if you don't situation. But they also don't help themselves. I mean, they obviously couldn't have been that sure that it was going to hit May, seeing as how close we are to the end of it. Like, I mean, people will say, why aren't you communicating with us? But it's another situation where you just think if they'd have just probably not committed to that, then, they wouldn't be quite getting it. I mean, they said spring and summer doesn't start for like another 20 odd days or whatever. So, they had that extra time. And if, and if
Yeah.
they then go and announce a delay, which as yet they haven't done specifically, at some point, you got to help yourselves with these things, because at the moment they're not in a good position with their PR and stuff, and there are people out there that are looking for them to fail, and they make it pretty easy for people to get on their backs.
See, I agree with Chaos Dash. They should have just released it at E3. Just came out with like a big thing. Hey, ODST is available right now. Never announced a release date for it. Just pop it out at E3. Made it a surprise, I think that would have been much better than people
Yep.
going, they
Now
got
they're
3
waiting for it.
days. Like, that's dumb.
It's a nice idea, but I can't see them wanting to bring such public attention to the fact that this is an apology for the fact that they royally screwed up Master Chief Collection. Like, I wouldn't have, and especially it's because it's only free for certain people before a certain date.
I honestly think they're gonna revise that thought, and I think they're gonna give it free for everybody that bought it. Just for the bugs and the server issues and everything else. I think they're gonna say, you know what, come on, it's all free.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
But then where's their apology to the people that got it early and were going to get something for it? Like, I think that they should move the date.
You
to,
got a
like,
month free of
January,
Xbox Live.
February. But people were told they were going to get free ODST, and then everybody
Why?
gets it. So I think you end up causing
Well,
yourself.
I think you keep the majority happy versus the minority.
I agree.
I think the minority are the loud minority of Halo fans that are pretty pissed off, and they've got another Halo game coming out this
Hey,
year.
there's a great website,
they're still
a
gonna
great
buy
Reddit
regardless.
page I want you to visit. Daniel, what's that Reddit page you always get me to go to?
Oh, Halo Circle Jerk.
Yes, go to that Reddit page and enjoy. All right,
It's fucking hilarious. I love it.
God.
They rip on people so bad, and they do it in such a great way.
But I love Halo, and I'll be the first to admit Halo fans are the worst fans.
I think any community is the worst fans, but they're particularly nasty.
Yeah, they have a lot of kids that are super psychotic passionate. Can I say that?
Yes.
I would say that Halo has a very small amount of younger kids. It's mostly people in my age group and older these days.
Like on the Halo Circle Jerk subreddit right now, the top post it's entitled the Master Chief Collection fan base, and you click on it, and it's a picture of Hitler playing on the Xbox 360.
Oh wow.
So it's pretty funny. I definitely recommend checking that out.
No, but like people like different versions of COD more than other versions, but not to the same level of people that like different Halo versions over other versions. And don't get me wrong, the people in COD are there, but Halo fans are more vocal. They
Well,
will
Very,
make sure
very
they're
I've
vocal.
talked to a person that worked on a prior Halo game, and he just said the fans, the community is great. They have a lot of love, but that love turns to hate really, really easily. And you do one thing wrong, and you just get skewered. But like you said, it's Call of Duty the same way. There's people just absolutely have a lot of love and live for that, whatever game or IP that they're in love with, and they're they go crazy over it.
I remember when Diablo 3 was announced, and some people didn't like the art style, so they went on Photoshop and
And
then
darkened it.
yeah, they adjusted light and stuff, and they said, "Why don't you just do this?" And they were like, "Do you have any idea how difficult that would be for us to actually do? If not, can't do it." And Diablo 3 was great. Well, I liked it anyway, but
I love Diablo 3.
yeah, I don't
I
know.
played a
There's
lot of it, but then after a certain point, doing the same stuff over and over, it would put me to sleep.
No, but Diablo was great with friends. Because even if you were doing the same shit over and over, you would just laugh nonstop. But let's move on from the Halos to the Xbox One patch for Witcher 3 adds a 30 frames per second lock. So, how I heard about this news was Vern yelling at the top of his lung about how amazing the patch for The Witcher is going to be, so he can finally play it. I'm excited. I can't wait for the frame rate to get fixed with this patch. Hopefully, I know they said it was in certification and we're still waiting for it to launch. But I'm really looking forward to the patch. Because I was telling Daniel, I sit about 15, 20 feet away from my TV when I play games, like especially something like The Witcher. Because I like to lean back and just hang out and play it. And it's not like a shooter where I need to be right on top of the TV and like really attuned to it. Like, because you're just making decisions and, going around doing your thing. So the font for me was really tiny on my 55-inch television. So I had to keep like putting on glasses or getting up and like walking forward and all the old man shit that you would think, but it's just because the font is fucking tiny. Even on normal, it's tiny. And I can't wait for it to actually be big enough for me to see from across the room. I don't know how y'all feel about it, but that's how I feel about it. That's right, people.
I think it's cool, and it's kind of an oversight that they made a mistake with the font, but glad they're fixing it so quickly.
You want to try to get Tim back in?
I can try.
Yeah, he said he reinstalled everything, deleted drivers.
He's trying to make me resize everybody's windows again.
He's just messing with you.
I think he basically said that he doesn't want to try to ruin the show and just move on. But maybe that's just me reading the wrong way.
I'm going to call him one more time. If he answers and it sounds good, it's fine. But last attempt. Alright, anyway, let's move on. Let's talk about Twitch bans adult-only rated games for streaming. Now, this shouldn't really affect almost anybody, especially in the United States, since no stores will sell you an adult-rated-only game. Steam will sell you adult-only games, I believe. Won't it, Michael, or not?
Yes.
Steam will? Okay, so you have to be careful with your Steam library. But the majority of games aren't going to be adults only. You're going to have to find some crazy shit to get an AO rating. And the majority of things that are going to be on Steam that would be adults only don't go through the ESRB anyway, and that's their guideline that they're going off of. They're not using different countries' guidelines. They're just going to go off the ESRB because it's the industry rating and not a government rating. which I actually prefer that way of rating games. I'm glad that the government never got into it in the U.S. and that they're going to use the industry standard for what a game is rated, rather than any specific country's standard.
Well, Twitch is an American company, so it makes sense.
Well, I mean, people were like, Germany has different rating systems, and their adult only is completely different from what you find in the States. Were you saying something, Daniel?
I think this is based on all the adult streamers out there who are like streaming and taking their clothes off while they're playing just for revenue.
Yeah.
And I guess they banned that, and they decided to ban games just as well, just in case people would play those adult-only games. And they probably want to keep like a nice PG-13.
You know what? There's some kind of age verification they could do for that, right? Say if you're
technically they do have a thing where it's like, this stream, they have the streamer has denoted this will be a mature stream. Do you want to watch it, right? But it isn't like a hard lockout. It's based on your account information. It's just a button that you press yes or no. It's
Well, I mean,
it's
it's just like
ineffective.
a adult website. Anybody can say, "Oh, yeah, I'm
Exactly.
35." Here,
Exactly.
Well, no, and it's
yes.
like, oh, you need a credit card to prove that you're 18. But then anybody can go into Walmart or wherever and buy a $5 prepaid credit card, put it in, and guess what? They're an adult. Like, it means
know.
nothing. Like, there's always ways around these things. When Xbox Live first started, you were supposed to be an adult to play. You weren't allowed to be a kid and play on Xbox Live.
Oh, that would have been so
And
nice.
That, you know what? That didn't work out because it was just like, hey, Mom, let me see your credit card. Bop, 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 bop. Hey, it's $50. Just letting you know. Okay. And then you were on Xbox Live.
See,
I think that
remember,
impression should have been a little bit more high-pitched.
I think when I sorted out Xbox Live for my Xbox 360, I was concerned that it wouldn't let me play games that were older than because I was like 15, 16 at the time. So I did tell them I was like 25, and then when I became 18, I just changed the date. And they never, I mean, I know that they didn't lock people out anyway, but like there was never any sort of comments for
Backlash.
that I told them
Yeah.
I was 7 years older than I was. So bizarre.
Yeah, because you didn't
But, I
want
mean,
a
even-
child account. Because eventually they started doing
Yeah.
child accounts. But when Xbox first came out with the initial Xbox Live, you were supposed to be an adult. You weren't supposed to. Kids were not allowed technically on the network. It was against the terms of service. But it was something nobody followed, and Microsoft wasn't going to enforce because, let's be honest, they were making money. I mean, they weren't going to stop kids from playing.
And over fucking fist, man.
Oh yeah.
But that's just how it is. And I understand why Twitch doesn't want to allow adult content. And people,
I understand it.
a big issue people had with it was, and they were like, well, this is a freedom of speech issue. It's like, no, it's not. It really isn't. It has nothing to do with freedom of speech. Twitch is their own service. They can allow you not to stream any content they don't deem suitable. They have to appease a public audience, but they are a private business. They do not have to allow you to stream anything. They have every right to tell you adult-only content will not be allowed. And that doesn't include things like Grand Theft Auto San Andreas with people going crazy about. The reason being, Grand Theft Auto re-released as a mature game again after it became an adults-only game because they removed the content. So the streamers that were doing speed runs will still be able to do speed runs as long as they have the appropriate copy of the game. That is not adults only. Because that was kind of the big uproar, was the hot coffee mod in San Andreas becoming adults only. But that game did re-release as a mature game. They did fix it. But yeah, I guess that's it for news this week, guys. That's all we got to go over. So we're just going to switch over to what you've been playing. Unless we have releases. What's coming out, Michael?
Blood Bowl's coming out tomorrow. Blood Bowl 2 is coming out tomorrow. So that's a fantasy sports game. Look up stuff about it. It's unique, to say the least. That's the only thing I know of off the top of my head.
Is the baseball game that they were talking about coming out next week, or when is that coming out?
That's coming out in the summer. I was going to actually
Summer.
ask about that. Anybody play it already?
No.
No, it doesn't have online multiplayer. I don't think.
So another RBI game, huh?
Yeah.
That good old American baseball. All right, Steve, correct Michael for any games you missed.
Okay, we've got 5 releases.
Hey, I only look at one place. I don't go to a source. I just look at one place. So.
Beach Buggy Racing has just come on the store, which is by the people who made Riptide GP2, which came out in January, which is a sort of a kart racing game, sort of very nice, sort of cartoony graphics, sort of some power ups, kind of like a low budget Mario Kart game. So that's $10 on the store now. I believe Badlands Game of the Year edition, which is from the mobile game that was popular and obviously won a Game of the Year award somewhere. It's like a puzzle game with sort of traps and that sort of thing. Looks like quite a nice sort of colourful art style. And also we've got Massive Chalice, which we discussed earlier, from Double Fine, which is on Games Ago on the 1st. On the 3rd, so that's next Wednesday, Sparkle Unleashed is coming out, which if you've ever played Zuma on Xbox 360 by PopCap, it's where you colour marbles and you'll go around like a path and you shoot them and you max them up and then sort of pop and then more sort of come in. I'm actually playing it right now. I've got an early copy. It's quite fun. That's like $8, I think. And then next Friday, the Swapper is out, which is based on the popular sort of horror-ish game, which has been out on like PlayStation and PC. It's finally coming
Cool
to
game,
Xbox
by the
One.
way.
Yeah, it's
it
like an
runs really well on
atmospheric.
the Xbox One.
Yeah, it's like an atmospheric sort of sci-fi space game. Look, it does look really cool, actually. That's definitely what I'm looking forward to checking out. So those are the releases over the next week.
All right, thank you so much, Steve, Michael. Appreciate it for y'all for looking into it. And we're gonna move on to just what you've been playing, and because we haven't talked to the man in forever. Daniel, what have you been up to?
I've been playing Master Chief Collection, and it's been working pretty fine despite what the internet says. I've been getting a lot of the achievements and just trying to finish up things before ODST comes out.
Can you dig it?
I can dig it.
All
Can
right.
you dig it?
Can you dig it? Yes, I can. All right.
Come out and play.
Hey, Warriors.
Oh my god, that was such a good time playing Master Chief Collection. And me and
Yeah.
Steve played some Master. We played the library. That shit was great.
We did.
Oh
in
my
co-op
god.
last night.
Yes, let me tell you, when you're playing with somebody that's across an ocean from you and you have 0 hit protection in the library on Halo, and the flood are fucking running after you, and there's nothing you can do, even though you've shot them 3 times in the head with the fucking shotgun, it's brilliant. That's all I'm saying. It's brilliant.
And then we were flying around in Banshees and some ghosts for a bit.
And the amazing teleporting people to a position you were in.
Oh God.
Getting
Oh,
lost
yeah.
in corridors because
That was
we were
the
both
worst.
teleport. Yeah,
Oh.
that was amazing.
Yeah.
That was you go forward in Halo Combat Evolved. Don't bother going back because you'll just end up teleporting people and getting pissed off at each other.
Well, we had a great moment where it was like, all right, Steve, I have no hit protection, so you need to go into that room. You need to hit the fucking beacon, and then we got to get the hell out. And I'm not going in there because there's like 30 flood that spawn in there, and I'm going to die instantly because I can't kill them. It just doesn't work. And literally, he goes in there, hits the beacon, and all you see on my screen is 15 floods spawn all around me instantly because, that's the checkbox. And I just start making a beeline for the door, running my ass off, not trying to shoot anything. It was
We
fucking
came back-
great.
We came back one time to the. We left the room and went outside, and all of our Banshees were gone. And then I was
Yeah,
like,
the
we're
Banshees
what
were
do we do?
gone. Yeah.
So we killed ourselves, and
Yeah.
then the Banshees were just on the floor. Like I don't know whether some of the Covenant came and sort of pushed them off as a little team effort or something. I don't know. And then there was when we went to do it and you moved around in the little tunnel thing, and just as I got there and went to hit it, it then zapped me back.
Yeah.
Oh god,
Right.
that was annoying. You'll be pleased to know, Dustin, I actually completed it about 15 minutes into the show. So I've
Alright,
now
cool.
finished all 4 Halo games on Xbox One.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Now we just got to get you par time and par score and what else? What else, Daniel?
Lasso and
Lasso,
Legendary,
yeah.
and all the little miscellaneous achievements and collectibles.
God. Got some of those Halo 2 ones. Ugh.
That's too tedious.
I'm going to be honest, guys. I'm probably not going to do any of that. I'll play ODST. I'll play ODST. I think that's probably the end of that sentence.
Some of the VidMaster stuff. Oh boy. Oof.
But I enjoyed playing Halo with all you guys. All right. I'm gonna wait for the rest of what I've been playing to the end of the show because I kind of want to do a spoiler thing for about like 5 minutes. Because I've played for over 40 hours of The Witcher, and I want to talk about it. I'm not going to go into the main story quest, but I want to be able to talk about it. You know, fuck it, I'll just talk about it now. If you don't want to hear anything about The Witcher, then please skip ahead about 3 minutes. But I'm talking about it right now, I don't care. The Witcher 3 is fucking amazing. I just got to the second island where you had to pay dude $1,000 to kind of switch over. I'm trying to think. I'm trying not to spoil stuff for people. Somebody keeps playing music. Who's playing music?
Not me.
This is so weird. It's popping over my headset. I don't know who's doing it. All right. I don't even have my thoughts together right now because I hear music playing.
Witcher.
The Witcher 3, like, I like the horseback riding. The mission design's really good, even 40 hours in. Like, I don't feel like I'm doing the same mission over and over again. Side quests are pretty freaking awesome. And I'm trying to... I don't want to spoil
It's just like a
anything.
well put together
It's
game.
really well put together. Even 40 hours in, I'm like 15-20% done with it, according to the save file. And it's massive. Like the world, I've never seen a game where, like, the beginning level of Witcher is really beautiful, and then like you pay the $1,000, you go into the second level, which isn't as big as the first map, but it's pretty big. It's a decent size, but it looks amazing in its own right. It's like this forest area. It looks kind of like Seattle instead of like an East Coast kind of vibe to it with the foliage and everything. And I've just really been loving the game overall. Like, I can't say it more than that. Like, it's amazing. I know there's been a few articles asking people, do you think it's better than Skyrim? And I really do. I think it's a lot better than Skyrim. But that's just because this is a next-gen game compared to what Skyrim is. I mean, for the time, Skyrim was amazing, but The Witcher is the next logical step for RPGs after that. And it's only going to get better from here on out, especially when you have a team that's willing to put in the hours, the lore and the story and the world to make it amazing. I don't know if anybody's played it as much as I have, but that's how I
haven't
felt.
played it as much, but I from what very little I have played, I'd say game of the year so far. I mean, even I haven't had too much of the stuttering and all that, just a little bit during the cutscenes, but it's really really polished, and I actually love the game, and I'm not an RPG player at all, so I really impressed by it, and the voice acting is great too.
Some people would say otherwise. I agree. So far, it seems to be the game of the year. I mean, I haven't touched it. I'd like to get it
Perfectly qualified.
when I want to, but I've watched a lot of it on YouTube, and I really enjoy what I've seen. So it's going to inform a purchase at the end of the day. So I'm not saying that it's the best game ever. I'm just saying that from what I've seen personally, it's looking like a game I want to play when I get a chance to.
Yes.
The reason I haven't played very much of it is because I started off on the hardest difficulty, and me being a newbie to the RPG genre, that wasn't a smart idea. That was pretty damn dumb. And everyone's
No,
like,
that's
"What the
completely
hell were
dumb.
you thinking?"
I
Because
have it on normal, and it's challenging.
yeah, well, I don't know. I was at the Griffin.
I guess.
Yeah, he was just shellacking me.
Oh, the Griffin's nothing. Just wait. You got some
Prepare.
dumb bosses ahead.
What do you mean by dumb?
Yeah,
I
you
shouldn't have
can't-
said dumb. I
Yeah.
apologize. What it is all right, because it's an open world and you're going to be going around the map. You're going to run into other Griffins, and that first Griffin is not fucking shit. Okay, that first Griffin's easy in the grand scheme. Especially, I'm level 15 right now, and I feel like I'm still the newbie on the map.
That's intentional. They want a pack of dogs to be able to kill you in that game.
No, the pack of dogs isn't easy. The pack of dogs is easy because after once you hit around like level 6 or 7, dogs really aren't a thing. What gets you really bad in Witcher is the drowners.
Mm-hmm.
Drowners will fuck your world up without a doubt. Like you think you got your shit together, you're like they're level 7 drowners, you're level 12, and you're like, you know what, I'm gonna mash through them, not a big deal. And then, most of the time, you like in that situation, you should be able to mash through, but the game will just fucking tear you a new one because 5 drowners will pop up and all hit you at the same time, and your character can't really react because he's getting hit nonstop, and drowners will fuck you up.
Yeah, with the drowners, I had to do the sissified version. I'd kill one, save, go kill the other one, save, go kill the other one, save.
And then they
hopefully I would die.
respawn. And,
Yeah.
Now, there's things I do really bad at The Witcher. I have not built a single bomb. I don't do potions. I've done none of the alchemy stuff. I am really awful at it, and it's something I have to really commit to and get better at.
And Gwent. People are saying they love Gwent.
Mm-hmm. I can offer you 2 pieces of advice. One, yes, potions. That was a big thing about like the first 2 Witchers was you needed to use them to beat some encounters. And Gwent, lose the first round, and you're going to do better in the next 2 rounds. Just burn all your low cards on the first round, and you'll win a lot more reliably, from what I've heard. Yeah. Because like, if you just put a bunch of 1s out, right, then they if they try to win, then they're going to have a lot less lower. They're going to have a lot less better cards, so you can win easier, in theory.
Makes sense. How come you haven't gotten it yet?
I don't know.
Too busy on that that
Yes.
shall not be named.
Yes.
You got 2 minutes, huh? You want to use your 2 minutes now? All right. But yeah, Witcher's fucking amazing. Go buy it. It's probably the best game so far this year, without a doubt. And I loved Ori, but Ori's its own thing, and it's an experience that everybody should enjoy, unless your name's Daniel. And
I'll play it.
No, you
On my
played it.
list.
You just don't think it's the cream of the crop. I understand
I
that.
played it for a bit. I'm gonna go back and keep playing it. I think it gets better after like an hour.
Yeah. But yeah, I really recommend everybody get Witcher. It's fucking amazing.
You're really making me want to play it. They need to hurry up with this patch.
Oh,
It's
you know
not
what?
unplayable.
There's
I
one
don't know
other
why
thing
it-
we can talk about that I played that's fucking amazing, and I'm gonna spoil all of it. Game of Thrones episode 4 on X.
Yes.
On the game came
And
out.
you
The
and Steve
episode
just-
came out,
Quiet.
and I think Steve said it best when we were talking about it. It's an action-packed episode. It is really, really good, and it's kind of the episode you've been waiting for. And I think
Definitely.
that's the best way to do it without spoiling it, right, Steve? Just leave it at that.
Yeah, it's like a lot of the other ones, with a lot of TV shows, it's, you get to the end and it's really exciting, but this, I mean, shit's just going on all the way through. It's good, and then you get to the end and it's like, what the fuck, guys? If you make me wait another 2 months for next episodes, I'm gonna throw stuff around my bedroom or something.
I'm gonna write a
That's-
letter to your corporate office.
I'm gonna send you some sternly worded tweets or something. It's good.
And I can't
It's
wait
good.
because once this season's over, we will do a spoiler cast about all of Game of Thrones. Once all 6 episodes are out and we've all played them, we're going to do a spoiler cast, which should be a good time.
Yeah.
And of course, we'll always do our Walking Dead one when that season, or the next 500 days, or whatever they do, comes out. I always look forward to
I
that.
can't wait to hear. Yeah, they're supposed to announce something at E3 for that. It's not going to be season 3, but it's going to be something. So you're probably right. It'll probably be the 500 days or whatever.
401 days.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
there
makes
you go.
sense. All right. Well, that's all I've been playing, for the most part.
Wait, you don't want to talk about Plants vs Zombies? The fun we had there.
We had an amazing time in PvZ. Too much fun.
Yeah,
We always have a lot of time when we play games together. Good
Yeah.
times.
we should do it more.
Except for when Daniel's there. I don't like Daniel. I've never. He's a bad
Because
person.
I'm always at the top of the leaderboards.
He's a grouch.
Hey,
He's always boasting.
Did you play Plants vs Zombies with us? Right?
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah.
You were on the top. You were at the top leaderboards when I was in those games.
I don't know.
Oh,
You're
wait a
not
second. I got to think about this for a second. I remember looking at the leaderboards, specifically at where you and Michael were placed. I think y'all were about the same, about even. It wasn't like anybody was drastically better.
I
than
love
you,
that
though.
game though. It's such
Oh,
a
yeah.
great game. So much
So
fun.
excited they're making a second one.
But that's why we're announcing the new Battlefield show that we're going to. No.
We
We're
definitely
gonna
got to play
watch
Battlefield. They
Michael
just updated it.
suck at Battlefield compared to Daniel.
They just started. They just patched it recently. Added some new features and guns and stuff. They added 5 new weapons, and they added. They changed the suppression system, and did a bunch of other balance changes and patches and fixes and shit.
Does the Levolution crash the game again?
Yeah, they fixed that a long time ago. They also added Gunmaster as well.
I wanted to add that feature back though.
You take down half the resort on Hanine, and then you just like the whole thing just goes
Turns
to like
off.
5 frames a second and kills the whole thing.
I want the original game back. I miss it.
I definitely agree.
All right, well, that's all I've been playing. That's Daniel. You've been playing anything else?
Besides Master Chief, no, I've been hardcore Halo.
Yeah.
Last like 3 weeks.
What about you, Southbound? What have you been playing?
Well, Witcher, obviously. I didn't get that very far into it. When I looked at the leaderboards, I was leading in deaths. So the closest next to me was like 50 or 60 below. I had like 120 deaths. So I was like, oh, yeah, I'm first place. I must up.
If it makes you feel better, I was leading my leaderboard with deaths. But then I
Yeah.
looked at like time played, and it was like 1 hour, 3 hours, 2 hours. And then I looked at mine, 40 hours, 50 deaths. I'm like, yeah, I'm leading that bitch. Leading the charge.
Yeah, I'm by far leading in deaths. So I kind of got sick of
What are all
dying,
the
and
leaderboard stuff that they have for that game?
It's not many. It's
I think potions made,
yeah,
deaths, and there's a couple
time
others.
played, and there's something else. But it's not very detailed. It's kind of bullshit stats that nobody's going to care about. I just
Well-
use it for time played to see what I'm compared to my friends. You know, it's
Yeah,
I guess that's the
I
easiest
played a
one
little
to
bit of Lifeless Planet. I got to, I don't know, the second or third level. You know, it's just basically a little jumper puzzler. That's pretty fun. It caught my attention. I like the third person aspect of it. It's not like a side scroller like most of the platformers are. And then I played a little bit more of the Swapper. Tried out Nero. Nero's a weird, like some of the puzzles are really easy, but some of them are really hard. But it's just like a mind. I don't know. I don't do drugs, but I guess if you're on acid, you just flip out. And what else did I play? Yeah, of course, Destiny. And a couple other things. Oh, I tried out. What was that game? I can't even think of it. It was so. It wasn't worth mentioning. So,
oh cool. Michael,
bunch of indie games.
I think Well, no, Michael, you're gonna end it because I guess we'll end with Destiny talk between you and Southbound.
All right.
Steve,
What are both your float?
you're done, right? We got all your games or anything else? Just
I didn't
before
talk
we get into
last
the Destiny talk.
I didn't talk last week about when I finished Wolfenstein: The Old Blood. I don't think. Um, that was really good. I enjoyed that a lot. It was just like exactly like the New Order was. Apart from the last chapter, which isn't so good. But it's really really good. I definitely would recommend checking that one out. I just like how they do levels, all the different approaches to gameplay and that sort of thing. Yeah, I played Game of Thrones. I played Tales from the Borderlands episode 1 and 2 this week. It's really good. I'm not a Borderlands fan. Well, I haven't played them, so I wasn't really sure what to expect. There's a lot of things in the world that they don't mention. I can tell there's references, and I don't know what they mean. But I do think it's actually Telltale's best work. Like the presentation is great. They run a lot better than all the other stuff does. And the stories are actually really interesting. I wasn't really so sure that because I don't play Borderlands, if I would actually be too interested in the characters, but I do quite like them. And I do, if I knew more about Borderlands, I think I'd probably think it does capture that really well too. I finished Rayman Legends this week, which is good. It's not. I thought, looking at how people say how great it is, I didn't really think it was that. I didn't think it was as good as that. It's definitely fun though. But this,
I think the praise comes with the fact that we haven't seen like a big 2D platform like that doesn't come out of Nintendo, right?
Yeah,
When was the last time a massive company like Ubisoft was like, well, let's make a 2D platformer?
true.
You know,
Yeah,
I think it's like a nice thing that comes from the love that people have for those sort of games more than anything else.
yeah. I mean, as I said, it was good. It seemed like there was absolutely ton to do. There's like 700 little blue things, and they had like some of the Origins levels in there as well, and all this other stuff. So there seems lots to do, and it was fun. And the final game I played was Ultratron, which is like this sort of Robotron 2084 inspired sort of twin stick shooter, which is really good. It's only like $10 or something on the store, but I got it when they had like a 20% discount or something. And I quite enjoyed it. There's like a big sort of economy aspect of it. So when they shoot all the robots and they drop the money, you collect it, and there was like you can make your robot like ridiculously overpowered and stuff. So that's pretty cool. So I really enjoyed playing that. Apart from the fact that when the achievements is bugged, so that was nice. But no, that's about it really.
Not bad.
All right, Southbound, Michael, I want you to talk about Destiny.
One thing before getting to Destiny, Arya, Final Character Killer Instinct, she comes out tomorrow. So,
Yay.
that's awesome. And, Evo's in like a month and a half, so get ready for that shit.
All right, before we get into Destiny, then, do you think? So we're gonna probably get a season 3 announcement at E3.
No.
No?
No. The story mode for the game's coming out in June. Same month as E3.
So should we guess for maybe
Gamescom.
Evo?
Gamescom.
Or Gamescom?
Gamescom. Probably maybe Evo actually. Well, Evo's during June. I should know this date. Of course they don't show the
Because
date.
I'm pretty sure a season 3 is coming for Killer Instinct.
Yeah,
it's
game's
okay.
doing well.
So Evo's in July,
Makes sense.
July 17th to the 19th. So maybe you do see the announcement and character art of probably Tusk and Maya or Kim Woo, I should say.
Yeah.
And considering that they're like, yeah, we raised $100,000 for tournaments. My thing is the real reason why they did that was to prove to the people that allocate funds across Microsoft Studios that yes, people give a shit about this game, and we want more money to be able to give Iron Galaxy more staff, so they don't have to take other projects to keep the studio open, so they can spend more time on KI. Because if you don't know what Iron Galaxy does, they do a lot of ports. They did the Borderlands ports. to next gen. They worked on Destiny, believe it or not, for a PS3 version, probably, just off the top of my head. So they do a lot of that. That's where they get a lot of their money from. So they weren't able to put every single person of the 150 or so staff that they have to KI. And if they could do that, they would be able to create so much more content. That or, work on adding DirectX 12 support, something else to make the game run even better. And fix a lot of bugs, maybe optimize the engine even more. All these things are good, and if that ends up being the thing where we wait 4 months and then season 2 starts, that's totally fine with me, because anything to improve a game like that.
Yeah.
So
more light sources. DirectX 12. KI would be amazing. Particle effects.
Yeah.
It's already real pretty.
Yeah, I mean, I look at Street Fighter V and I go, It doesn't look as impressive as stuff like Glacius standing in front of fire and seeing the fire being warped through his body, right? Like, that stuff, that looks insane.
Yeah.
You could not do that on a 360 at all.
Well, I don't want to discount Street Fighter, but Killer Instinct is
I will
pretty...
discount Street Fighter as much as I want, because Street Fighter V does not look impressive yet.
It looks like a high-res texture pack on top of Street Fighter 4. I hate to put it.
Think so?
I wouldn't say that. I suppose it's because we haven't had a long enough gameplay suite of stuff. Now, if you look at Ryu in Street Fighter 4 and Ryu in Street Fighter 5, and look at the character models, you would see that the character model is much more detailed in definition of skin and muscle structure, but it's not detail that stands out.
It doesn't feel like that next gen pop for you.
Exactly. It's something that you see when they do the character intro. Which, congratulations, it's a goddamn character intro. While they're doing stuff, that's when it should matter. That's when it should matter.
And in-game footage is where the meat and potatoes should be.
Mm-hmm. And granted,
likes to make.
They've only shown in-game footage, which, it comes to say that they are showing it as early as possible. Granted, that hasn't helped the PS4 version of Street Fighter 4, but that's a whole other story of absolute shit.
Did anyone play Mortal Kombat?
I mean, Mortal Kombat looks great. I'll give them that. It looks very defined. So, yeah. But having previous generation versions just means that some things just can't happen.
Right.
Which is
and they've just delayed the last gen versions again.
They did, yeah. Which I'd imagine
they should have just canceled it altogether and just put all their full force for current. Well, I guess it's next gen or current gen now. But why step back? Ubisoft already made their decision.
Player base. Seriously,
money?
The number of players that don't want to get a PS4 or an Xbox One, but they want to practice Mortal Kombat X so they can go to Evo and play it. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of people that want to do that, right? So and removing that option is not viable, considering just how much they spent on the fucking game, right? People are bitching about DLC, and it's like, well, NetherRealm would close if they didn't continue releasing stuff for the game, because they got Trisha Helfer in to do a voice, right? And she's not cheap. That doesn't speak to who she actually is as a person when I say she's not cheap, but people will take it the wrong way. As a voice actress, she is not inexpensive, because she is a well-known sci-fi actress, and she has this reputation as who she is. So, the only other people who've been able to afford to use her talents have been like Blizzard, right? So, yeah. This is how it goes.
They could have went to Nolan North. They could have got like a 5-for-1 deal.
They did with Troy Baker. He voices several characters.
Yeah,
as you would expect.
But it's not really a 5-for-1. It's once you do one, once they do 3 voices, they start getting paid a lot more. They do get paid for each individual voice. Like, you'll throw a bone and give them one for free, but usually those guys are making
Yeah,
A
Troy
lot more.
Baker and Nolan North, I bet their costs are just through the roof. Because, I mean, they're the most known voice actors in games, that period.
Yeah, they're probably two of the biggest
Hmm.
in recent memory. I mean, you got people like John DiMaggio. You got a bunch of voice actors, but
Jennifer Hale.
they
Steve
honestly
Blum.
at this point, like
Steve Bloom, yeah,
the guys
exactly.
that do video or not video, that do like animated series and comics and stuff like that. Those are the same voice actors you're getting in games. The people that do radio voices, all that work is all the same for them, and it's pretty awesome. There's a great documentary called The Voices. It's ran by John DiMaggio.
I know that voice.
I know that voice. That's right. I know that. Yeah, it's a fucking great
I love
video to
it.
watch. They go through everybody, from
They start at like Steamboat Willie and they go
Mark
forward.
Blank all the way to present. It's a
We'll have
pretty
to check that
amazing.
out.
Yeah.
Netflix.
Yep. It's on Netflix. It's free.
Well, I seen a couple
Yeah.
things on YouTube, like, you surprising who actually does his voice, and you're like, whoa, it kind of blows you
It's
away.
like Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh is voiced the same guy that is
Uh,
Optimus Prime.
Optimus Prime, right? Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
My name is
Yep.
Optimus Prime.
And it's always funny to watch people
Run,
mention
Sam.
Billy West because it's like, yeah, Billy West only does when he does a voice. He usually does 10 separate voices in every screenplay. He does, like
Oh my
he's
God.
usually
Futurama.
talks for like 10 minutes and then everybody else talks for a minute and then he just keeps doing every other voice in the show.
Yep.
How talented these people are. But I know that voice is a great video. You should watch it. Go on Netflix. Check it out.
Please do.
But not to get too off topic. Let's talk about Destiny. Let's talk about expansions. Let's talk about 2 minutes of grueling time. No, I'm just kidding. Tell me about why I should buy this expansion. Michael, tell me what the greatness is, and that way people that don't own it have a reason to buy it. Why should I try this expansion out? Why is this the one?
Because it emphasizes the co-op even more.
It does? Okay.
Like every single
And
aspect of the game is built around the co-op, more or less, even more so.
co-op's definitely a good, part of it. But if you feel like you've been behind or lagging, you didn't play as much as you wish you would, or you didn't, you can catch up with the different
So quick.
armors
So quick.
very, very fast. It's just if you have a couple people that'll carry you or to run with going back to the co-op thing, you can get yourself up to 34 pretty fast. And that's
At the
and
very
that's
least
when-
32. At the very least 32. Shit, even
yeah, just
35.
max
find a
level?
couple
Even 34 is currently the max level. You can get to 33 in like a day, more or
Yeah.
less, by getting 4 pieces of purple gear, completing level 32 of Prison of Elders, not ascending, but buying the 42 light
Armor.
and having an exotic that you ascend, and you'll be at 33. And you can do
Yeah.
34, get a piece of etheric light, try
I
like a
have no
35.
idea what any of that
you
means.
use an
But
exotic shard for whatever
Exotic. Yep.
piece you're wearing. And then use the, like you said, you get a weapon or armor for 34 or 32, and then
You get an armor core.
armor core, yeah. So you
All
can
right,
buy
so it's a lot more co-op focused. They're making
Yes.
they're streamlining it to allow people to level up quicker.
right. You don't have to grind like previous iterations of the
It's
Yeah,
game.
nowhere
don't-
near as close to a grind.
Now,
I mean-
do I have to buy the DLC for the grind to be better, or is that a DLC only?
No.
I'll buy the DLC.
No, I'm
don't-
trying to stretch this out. I'm trying to see if I want to power level with you guys, do I have to buy this DLC?
Yes.
Okay.
I
Yes,
believe
I'll buy the DLC.
in
It's like
general,
because,
$50.
yes.
28 Prison of Elders is a breeze, and it's
Oh,
easy to level up your character. That's where you want to start at. When you start
Super
to get
fun.
into 32,
Super
it's still
fun, too.
pretty easy. But when you get 34, 35, yeah, you better bring
You-
your
you need
big
the
girl
gear.
panties.
But the thing is, like, I was doing the 34, and we got to the final boss, and it was just like, we all have the best rocket launcher in the game. I'm a Titan. I have this buff that makes us do 25% more damage. And we just like, let's
Nice.
just unload a bunch of rockets on him. And we beat the final boss in like 45 seconds. But there's a legitimate way to beat him too. So they
Yeah,
they give you that out on purpose.
Yeah, you're talking about Codron. We got to him the other morning. It was about 5 in the morning,
Oh
and
gosh.
and yeah, and it was only two of us had Galahorns,
Hmm.
and I was a Titan. I had my weapons of light, and we got him to just a sliver of health, and then those damn force fields pop over you,
Yes.
and we just because we didn't know how to beat him. We didn't know you had to go for the silver guy to get out, get the jailbreaker to get out of those force fields. So we were just I had to quit. It was like 5:30 in the morning. I said, you know what, I have to go. I'm done. And I was so pissed. I actually had, I think I had nightmares about it because we did all that 34 just to get the Cauldron for him to kick our ass. So that
But
whole weapons
granted,
of light thing for us did not work.
granted,
But then,
some of the raids now you can go through pretty quickly because
oh
people
yeah,
are over leveled. So
yeah. If you're 34 hunter and you go against Crota, you could just beat the shit out of him in one sword.
it's a good way to get get the get the primary
Flawless
weapons that
Raider,
have elements.
and you can get Flawless Raider pretty easy.
Yeah, yeah. So
So
All right, I think that's been 2 minutes.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Anything to add about Destiny that we should know? Like, or is that it? No.
I, you know,
I'm letting y'all talk about Destiny. Like, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity
literally,
for
everything's
like.
pausing right now, so that's why I'm kind of like hesitant. No, honestly, right now the Prison of Velars is where it's at. It's fun. It's definitely worth the purchase for the DLC for me, in my opinion.
All
I
right,
agree.
so the next time we're allowed to talk about Destiny is when the Comet expansion comes out or the announcement. So,
supposed
moving
to be at
along.
E3 this year.
Yeah,
E3.
E3, and
Supposed to
that's
be.
almost guaranteed to be on Sony stage, correct?
We don't know.
150%.
I wouldn't say that.
They
They haven't.
they had that they dragged Destiny out. Yes, the DLC was about to launch, but Sony obviously got a lot invested in this deal. It will be on stage. I feel very confident.
Well,
It
I
will.
But
will
they
I will
haven't.
think that we're supposed to get the Xbox is supposed to get the stuff that PlayStation had at launch, the
Probably
strikes,
launch a
the
con.
Hawk Moon, right? So I believe there'll be a big Xbox to do for Destiny. I don't know if it's going to be on stage for Sony, or
My
Xbox.
the thing
I
about this is
can't
I
I can't see them
Steve.
making a fuss about the fact that they're getting content a year later.
Well, there's
I
a lot of
could.
people that still want those guns and strikes that the PlayStation got. They feel that people still feel slighted.
But they're
I
not on
understand
stage.
your reason, Steve. It's just that if Sony were that devoted to it, they would still have their branding on stuff that's coming out.
Good
And they
point.
really don't these days.
But I
Right.
think with Phil Spencer playing so much Destiny, I think it's a sign.
It's a sign that he's trying to get Bungie Sweet to come on back home.
Yeah.
Yeah, they need to kiss and make up.
I think that Sony realized this did not turn out how we wanted it to, so they don't
No,
really.
because they made it
Well,
seem like it
well, I
was a
had
PlayStation exclusive.
it sold
That's
a,
the way they were advertising it. Yeah.
it sold a lot of copies, and those console sales in September in the US were huge.
Yes, yes.
I mean, okay, they didn't. I don't think in terms of the critical and consumer reception is quite what they were hoping, but I mean, they made a lot of money from it, and ultimately, I think that's that's the main thing. It's a big game, and I can't see them bailing out now. Just as I mean, this new DLC, everyone seems pretty happy with it.
Exclusive on Xbox.
As they're coming towards the Comet expansion, presumably that would have been built to take into consideration what people have said, and if that's good, I don't see Sony not getting a lot of stage time and presence for that.
Well, I mean, certainly that's just as viable of an option. Only time will tell. But it's worth noting that Destiny has less input lag on Xbox One than PS4. As it's been officially charted that most Xbox One games have better input reception than their PS4 counterparts. And Killer Instinct has the least input lag of any next gen game.
A
So there's
truly
Nice.
selling
That's
feature.
impressive. I did not know that.
Yes, it does. It actually has the least input lag of any fighting game ever, I think. on
Is that
console.
specifically because of the codec and the controller on how it communicates, or
Yeah. Well, I mean, when you consider that the console and the controller were built around the game was built to work together for it, and the console has a very competitive history. They're going to build for competitive players.
well, I mean, like between Forza and most fighting games, like that's kind of been there. It's
Well,
all
Forza
about
Horizon 2 actually has some of the lowest of the speed test this guy did.
yeah.
Like, but the thing is, like, the next game on the list was Halo 2 Anniversary, was like the next one.
Yeah.
So, like I said, they built this game and this system for competitive play, and Sony's like trying to jack it, and it's like with Street Fighter 4 coming out the shit way that it did.
Yeah, sadly.
Yeah,
Sadly.
I
No, I
rushed
mean,
it.
like I
Fighters,
don't like
but-
to see any game come out and just be bad. Like, but that's just me.
Chaos in the chat. That's funny. Blood coming out of your nose.
Yeah, that Destiny
I
talk.
can't take it no more. No more Destiny, please.
What genre would Bungie's next game be?
Sci-fi.
Sci-fi. Yeah.
I'm going to limb to say a shooter.
I'm gonna throw a wild out there. Sci-fi shooter set on different planets or ring worlds.
Not Earth.
Something to do with Guardians.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think something about Comet.
Yeah. All right, guys. I think that's going to be it for the show, unless anybody has anything else they want to talk about. Anyone? No?
Not off the top of my head.
Anyone? No. No. Nobody's been playing anything else. So please write us at letters@xboxuncut.com. That's letters@xboxuncut.com. Follow us, subscribe. We're going to be on YouTubes. We're going to be on the Twitters. We're on... Hey, you're watching us on Twitch now, but you could not be live. So go to twitch.tv/xboxuncut. Follow all our panelists. We have them on the show notes. Everything's going to be up for your enjoyment. And let's keep this ball rolling. So we'll talk to you next week. Peace out, everybody.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
So yeah.
Cheers.